Hi there guys, we've put together this video. Lara and I are going to go through the full phase 1 routine. We're going to take this really slow. I'm going to throw in some tips as we go along with the exercises. Lara's going to actually do them or the routine. If you're watching this, hopefully you've already had a look through the phase 1 exercises and the stretches and the towel and everything, and you understand exactly what you're doing, you understand the routine. If you haven't paused this video, go ahead and watch those lessons first. But if you've already done that, we're going to get straight into it. We're going to start off with the core engagement exercise. We're then going to go into the Sass engagement exercise. We're going to do the hamstring stretch, the hip flexor stretch, and then the glute stretch, and then finish up with the famous towel stretch. And after you finish this exercise routine, finish the video and go ahead and get that ice straight on the lower back for 3 to 5 minutes, as you know is the right thing to do. So with that being said, let's get into the video now.
Okay.
If you want to take a position on your back on the ground,
yeah.
And it's worthwhile, Lara's doing this, you want to take your time. If you've got a little bit of back pain yourself, take your time getting down here. Use a chair, use something like that to support you. And it's worth noting, if you're someone that's in phase 2 right now or phase 3, and you're using this routine right now as you should be, twice a day outside your phase 2 and phase 3 routine, still watch this video. Maybe skip ahead to the bit when we start the stretches, but it's still important. And we're going to discuss, as I said, some tips as we go through this. I've got the top stopwatch up here, so we're going to time the stretches and go through it in time so you can watch it and really just understand exactly what we're going through as we're going through these exercises. So first one is the core engagement. You'll notice Lara's down on her back, her knees are bent up, feet relaxed, very relaxed position. What you should notice is that there's a little hollow underneath the lower back down here. That's important. That's that natural lordosis that we should have in the lumbar spine that we talk about all the time. When we're doing this exercise, you're placing your hands on your waist, on your midsection, and what we're doing is as we breathe in, the air's coming in through the mouth and the tummy's expanding. And then we breathe out all the way and the tummy's contracting. You can actually see that it's making this loose here because we're getting that corset-like contraction. So you're going to go ahead now and we're going to go through those full 10 reps. So if we go through those, Lara, we've done 1, let's go number 2. So breathing in and breathing out all the way. Good. And you're holding these for 3 seconds. So Lara, if you just focus on doing your reps and counting them, and I'll jump back in as everyone's doing these, I'll talk to them as we're going through this. So you'll see that Lara's spine is not moving when we're doing this. It's nice and slow, nice and controlled. We're getting that corset-like contraction through the middle on every single rep. And really just taking our time to get it done.
That was 5.
So we've got 5 reps, 5 to go. And this should not be uncomfortable. We shouldn't be tucking our pelvis, tucking our bum under like you might have been taught in other exercises. The spine is neutral, not moving. Some people might find it helpful to take a little small towel just to put it underneath here while you're doing this exercise to support the lordosis in your lower back. That is a little tip, potentially a small tea towel. How many reps have you done, Lara?
That one's 8.
Okay. And we're still doing nice deep breath in, let the lungs fill. Good, and then the tummy comes out, and as we breathe out, the tummy flattens, everything comes in tight, and we're squeezing in. That's really, really important. Last rep. And then all the way out, nice and tight. And you should be able to feel a bit of cramping here. Don't worry if you're feeling it on the lower back as well, that's okay, that's where the muscles attach. Now we're gonna get straight into the Sass engagement. So Lara, if you wanna start that right now, the core is nice and tight, okay? Right in here is nice and tight. And we're getting that leg up, providing this compression through here as we engage the groin muscles in here to really start to engage that psoas muscle, those hip flexor muscles, so they can work with your core. We're holding for 3 seconds and then relaxing and going on to the other side. So 2, 1, and then relax. Relax it all the way down to the ground, the leg back down. And then the other leg, engage that one there. Hold it, 2, 3, and relax. Now our spine stays neutral as we're going through these. And again, okay, and why is this important? If we're doing them alternating, we're focusing on keeping that core engaged as we're engaging the other muscle on the other side, the psoas on the left, and then on the right. And we're carrying on, just count these as we're going through them, Lara. But the core that we just did on that core engagement is staying engaged throughout the entirety of this routine. Lara's not letting her tummy go as she's going through this. Now, if you are new to this routine, you're new to the phase 1, you might be struggling to breathe effectively while you're doing this. Take your time. If you're struggling, you're a bit behind the reps, then pause this video, catch your breath, and carry on. What rep's is this, Lara?
I think it's number 3 on this side.
Okay.
Sorry, it's hard
So
to
that's
focus
3
when
reps.
you're talking about it.
You just focus on the counting. I'll do the talking. So that's rep number 4. We're doing 10 reps total each side. Don't be alarmed if you feel a little bit of cramping in the middle. Your spine again should not be moving as we're lifting the legs up here. That's really, really important. I won't ask you any questions just until we get onto the stretching, Lara.
I'm also trying to listen to what you're saying to actually do the right technique.
Yeah.
It's good that I can speak while tensing my core.
Yeah, a lot of you guys will get a bit out of breath doing this, and that's okay. Don't worry about any difficulty, any cramping as you're doing these exercises, because they're really there to start to wake up those core muscles, those deep muscles that protect your spine. And again, we shouldn't be moving the spine here. It can be quite difficult to concentrate. You might want to shut me up, pause the video, do a couple, and then turn it back on.
Can I do that?
You can't do that, unfortunately. It's just the people watching. You're not a paying subscriber, so they can shut me up. You can't. So how many reps is that we've
I
done?
think number 8.
Okay, awesome. So you can see this takes a bit of time. We're going through, this is the first time through. We've got to go through this 3 times, guys. So you take your time as you're doing these. There we go. Is that all 10 done? Last one?
9.
Number 9.
9 on this leg.
Okay,
9 on this leg.
good. And you see it's still nice and tight through here. We're still holding that core engaged the whole way through. And last one on each leg.
I'm definitely getting warm.
Yeah, because you're engaging the core muscles. You might find a bit of cramping in the hip flexors after a little while.
It's tight here.
Yeah, that's good. That's completely normal. That's why we're doing the stretching afterwards, guys. Okay, so now we're back into the breathing again. So, hands on the tummy, feel that core, and off we go, Lara. You just do it in your own time. We're holding these 10 reps, 10, not 5, 10 reps, 3-second pause. So here we go. Now, a nice little tip as Lara's getting on with these and as you're doing them at home, you just go through and count your reps, okay? As you finish that out breath and your tummy's contracting in and you're engaging that core really tightly, just force that extra little out breath. Just a little out breath, as if you're blowing out candles. You'll feel your spine shouldn't move. You'll feel that you get that extra little bit of contraction right through here. And that's what we're looking for you to feel. This exercise is there to teach you how you should be engaging your core and what that should feel like, so that later on when we get into phase 2 and phase 3, we're able to mentally turn it on and off. We should be able, if you're watching this video now, as Lara's still doing the reps, we should be able to get the tummy coming in and out by using the core muscles, and then hold it and then do other exercises. So you're learning a way of engaging the core without moving the spine, and it's so important. What rep are we on now, Lara?
7.
So number 7. And it's nice and slow. This is also good for a number of other reasons. We won't get into those. The diaphragmatic breathing that you guys are doing, learning to engage your diaphragm again, that's going to help a number of different issues, and it also decreases your stress levels as well. Maybe not while I'm talking to you guys, but you don't have to watch me every time you do this video or do this routine. How's that? Last rep?
Yeah, number 10.
Okay, so rep number 10. Lara's doing this at a really good pace, and it'll be great for all of you guys watching this. It shouldn't give you any trouble when you're doing these unless you're moving your spine. So now we're going to go back into those Sass engagement exercises. Hold that core nice and tight. Really tight. Yep, see, forgot there. And then we're back in. Always have one hand, if you can, on your tummy, so you can actually make sure that you get that additional feedback. It really, really helps. So a lot of you guys will struggle to do some of these exercises without moving your spine. And this is really the foundational part, because if we can't engage our core without the spine moving, without the pelvis moving, then we're really going to struggle to actually do any sort of rehab, because we're constantly going to be aggravating that area, that injury that we have in the lower back, whether it's an L5 disc, an L4-5 injury, whatever it may be. If we can't provide stability, lying down and moving one leg, you can see how easy this exercise really is. And that's not to take away if you're struggling with this one. You can see how easy Lara's doing this exercise and how easy it will be for you. If we can't lift up one leg whilst holding our spine stable, how are we going to be able to do the normal acts of daily living without challenging our back? So it's perseverance. Some people, this takes a couple of weeks to get used to doing it correctly. Other people, they get it in a few days or a few reps. So whatever pace you're going at personally, that's the most important thing for you. What rep are we on now, Lara?
5.
So on rep number 5 on the second leg. Like halfway through. Go on.
I am pushing back for about 5 seconds.
You don't need to hold it for that long. 3 seconds is fine because you're going to get fatigued. I'm sure you're probably starting to feel those hip flexors getting a little bit tight already. So don't hold it for longer. We actually had a good question. One of the girls in the premium membership on the Facebook group, which is probably where you're watching this video now, actually asked about, can I hold this for longer? And she was actually in phase 2, but there's not really much benefit holding it for longer. I would say if you're still in phase 1, focus on just going through the motions. We're really learning a technique here and are learning an engagement and a feeling for the engagement rather than, trying to wear things out at this point. We really want you guys to start to turn on, wake up these muscles so they're providing stability for your spine. It's so important. What number is this?
9.
So, rep number 9. Now I'm going to have to get up soon while Lara does the stretches on the chair. You still feeling that core engagement?
Yeah.
Good. And the spine shouldn't have moved the whole way through this set, and last set, and the next set. But you're going to be doing this routine 3 times a day, spread throughout the day. So back into the core engagement, last one, let's really hold it nice and tight. Now, we're getting into the last set here. We want to work on really trying to almost make our core muscles cramp up. We should be squeezing really tight through here so that these muscles cramp up really nicely. Don't worry if you, oh God, that was a little bit tight. Try not to move your spine too much, but we want to be engaging these muscles so you feel what it's like for them to work. So then you know what it feels like when we're moving into phase 2 and more challenging exercises. So this is almost ingrained, it's second nature. It should be, but for a lot of people it's not because it's been unlearned. How's it feeling?
Yeah, quite tight.
Tight, good. And it's just about getting control of these core muscles. Okay. Now as we're coming towards the end of this, what reps number is that?
6.
Okay, really try and squeeze these out. You're doing this 3 times a day, so we want to really get those core muscles working. So there's that extra bit of tightness, if you will, stability through here after you finish this routine. And again, don't be alarmed if it gives you a little bit of disgruntlement in the lower back. If you get some ice on there afterwards, it's going to be fine. But you can see how still these movements are. They're very, very safe movements. How many reps?
9.
So last rep. Okay, really squeeze it, and then we'll go straight into those Sass engagement. And you'll notice, so this is a really important principle for the phase 1. It's just the hips that are being engaged here, the hips that are moving. The spine is not moving. We're able to get that hip movement without our lower back being involved. And this is really, really important for latter stages when we start reintroducing larger scale movements to the lower back. Lara's able to move the hips without influencing the spine because she's got a good cylindrical engagement of that core, like a corset around the spine, holding it nice and steady. And then she's engaging the hip flexors at the same time to provide that integrated support for the spine. Where are we at now?
6.
Okay, starting to tighten up, is it?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's finish these reps up. Number 7 done?
Yeah.
And again, you just take your time as you're doing these. Go through nice and slowly. And hopefully you're appreciating the pace that we want to be going at for these exercises. Now, when you finished it, that was number 9?
Yeah.
Awesome. So when we finished, we want to get up slowly. Okay, so you might be doing this on the bed for the first time. You might be doing it on the floor, but you have a chair nearby so you can help yourself up. Because the next one we're doing is going to be sat on the chair, the hamstring stretch. So, Lara, if you roll onto your side first, nice and slowly. There we are, good. We're trying not to bend that spine, and then we'll pop ourselves up. Take your time. And we're going to pop on the chair. So next exercise we're going to be doing, I'm getting the stopwatch out, we're going to start with the hamstring stretch. Okay? So, do you want to pop yourself on the chair here? You've actually got it through here. The little PDF.
Okay, the hamstring stretch. Oh yes, sorry, I was actually thinking about the quad stretch.
Don't worry. we're going to go through these. Now, I'm going to pause. We're going to set the timer up once Lara's in position. So maybe you're taking a few moments to get into position. That's okay. Start with the core engaged. We want to keep the core engaged through here. We've got a slight bend in the knee. I'm not starting the timer just yet. We're going to use this for support later on. And again, we're pivoting from the hips, not the back. So if we start the timer, you ready?
Yeah.
And we're sticking the bum out to feel the stretch, and we're off. So we're going to do these for 30 seconds. If you're doing this for 60 seconds, you can do that. That's perfectly fine. Take your time, pause the video, renew it as soon as you're ready to move on, or maybe just follow us along. And when you catch up, you can unpause the video and carry on. Now, what Lara's doing here is she's providing support. We want the back nice and protected. The spine is neutral. It's not moving. Ongoing principle through this. It's really the same. I'll just hold this here, Lara, so you can see it. Okay. Coming up to 30 seconds, and then we're going to slowly move on to the other leg. There's 30-second timer up, back up, swap the legs over, again, lean forwards, and we're off, another 30 seconds. Spine hasn't moved, core's tight, we're bending from the hips, we're feeling it in the back of the hamstring here, okay? If we want, we can press down a little bit here.
Ooh, that's quite a lot.
Yeah, so one finger that was, a little bit of pressure here, and you're going to feel it intensify here. With time, you're going to be able to build this up. It's going to get easier and easier to get a little bit more range of motion. But Lara's supporting the spine. 25 seconds, 26 seconds, 7, 28, and 30 seconds. Let's swap back over to the other leg. We're going to go straight back in. You take your time coming out of these stretches.
Should my foot be on the floor, or should it be
Yeah, a lot of people worry about whether the heel should be up or down. It doesn't really matter. Whatever's comfortable for you, I wouldn't be uncomfortable. That's the most important thing here. And if we start again, get into that position, we're sticking the bum out, the spine is nice and neutral. Again, we're not leaning forwards like that. That's a big problem. It ruins the stretch. It means that you feel it in the back only.
I think the foot flat is better. You feel it more.
Different people will feel different things just based on their own anatomy. I personally actually prefer it just slightly off the ground.
Oh, really?
But you have to find what works for you. That's 23 seconds, guys.
When mine's off the ground, I feel it in my
calf. Maybe we need to work a bit more on the calf stretching. That's 30 seconds. Let's swap over to the other leg.
It's actually quite nice.
Yeah. I think we're just going to go through this 3 times on each leg. Yeah.
Oh, you do forget to keep the core engaged.
Yeah, you've got to keep that core engaged. And we're just going to be holding this, really relax, support your body here. Sometimes I do this next to a desk, so you can actually rest on the desk, but we cannot forget our spine, we cannot forget our core. We'll be off for another 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1, and come back out. And then the other leg, we're going to do 1 more on each side.
Oh, we've already done 3.
Well, let's do one for good measure, okay? 1 more, there we go. It's only 30 seconds, it's not a long stretch. You could be doing 60 as we mentioned, but we've got to make sure that spine is in trouble. If you start leaning forwards, you're going to feel a bit of tension in the lower back here. That is going to be a problem for you. Please don't do that. We've spoken about a few other variations as well from time to time. You can do this lying down, you can do it standing up, just leaning forwards, but we've got to support that lower back. 23 seconds, 4, 25, 26, 27, and that's 30 seconds. Let's swap legs. Last one on the other leg, then we're going to go into the lunges. So, don't lose your form, keep stretching, keep feeling it in the belly of the hamstring. It's the belly of the muscle back here. We're always stretching that straight leg, you can see. Some people try and stretch the wrong leg. That's very important. You still feel it in your hamstring?
Oh, yes.
It's easier to get into the position once you've done it a couple of times. Let's hold it for another 5 seconds or so. And 3, 2, 1. And we're going to get off the chair. Now, how should we get off the chair? It's a very good question. We should engage our core and use our leg muscles rather than leaning forwards too much. Very, very important. Now, Lara's going to jump into the lunge position. Not literally, and you don't need to jump into the lunge position either. We're going to step down. We're going to go through 3 times again. So you pop yourself down there. Take your time. If you've got knee trouble, then I'm going to talk about a few adjustments here for you personally. Now we're going to be stretching the side that's furthest from the camera first of all. You want to stop your spine from bending and arching too much. Lean on this front leg here, and really, as we're doing this, I'm going to start the timer in a second. I've But you want to cover this first because we want to make sure we do this right. Engage here, so this is nice and tight, and then lunge there. And then slowly go forwards until we feel it on the front of the thigh. Now Lara's a little bit more flexible maybe than you might be, a little bit less flexible than some of you. And we can have the chair here provide a little bit of support. So we'll start that stretch now. And you see how she's able to use the chair here to mean the spine doesn't move. Nice and strong here, nice and strong up here, nice and strong in the back, and we're just focusing on the stretch. How does it feel, Lara?
Good.
The chair provides more support?
Yeah.
Good. Then we hold it there, that's 18 seconds, 19 seconds. And you can play around with the angle a little bit, but the most important thing on this is that the spine remains straight. These are probably going to be a bit tight. There's 30 seconds. Let's swap legs. So take your time. I'll move these chairs around for you. There we go. And as we're doing these stretches, the hip flexors may be a bit tight from earlier when we were doing the Sass Engagement exercise, so that's okay as well. And really try and be a little bit lazy. We want you to relax into this stretch, really feel it going. We'll start the clock again. No, you need to keep track of the numbers here. I got the timer going. So you're feeling it on the front of the stretch, just relax into it. Don't bounce too much. Really hold that spine steady as well. Now, for some of you guys, I'm gonna let Lara just carry on with these repetitions. I'll give her the stopwatch to carry on. Okay, just call us out. We're coming up towards the end of this stretch, and I'll talk to you guys about the knees a little bit because this is really important. So I'll take the chair away as well. 30 seconds, okay, let's swap sides. I'll take this chair away, there we are. I'll let you carry on, Lara.
Yeah.
Okay, just so I can talk to these guys. Now, a few things you'll notice with the, we'll start the stretch now. With this stretch here. Sometimes this knee can be sore, sometimes this knee can be sore if we've got any knee issues. You pop a pillow underneath the knee down here, that's going to support the knee from the contact point, but actually more often than not, it's this knee that's going to be bothered because we're putting more pressure through that knee itself. So using the support in the chair, sometimes 2 dining chairs either side can actually be really, really helpful to make sure this stretch is as comfortable as possible and that we can protect the lower back. Coming up to 30 seconds now. 30 seconds and we'll swap sides. So coming through the last 2, we'll try not to round our back too much when we're doing these.
It was easier with the chair, having a little support.
I know, but you're able to do
I'll
these.
just lean on
Okay,
you.
you lean on my knee. Okay, there we are. So the chair is really a valuable tool. It makes a massive difference when we're doing this. A lot of people miss it. Make sure we're not arching our back as we're coming forwards. So this is set 2 on the right side, yeah?
Yeah, and also don't set your phone down on the floor because I'm having to arch my back for the timer.
Okay. And we're just holding that stretch, and these should be nice and easy. These shouldn't give you any trouble. Now, there are some other variations that we can do on these, but check inside the Facebook group and in the premium members area because we've got videos on those separately. That's 30 seconds again. We're going last rep on each side.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, and if we go there, okay, 30 seconds start.
Yeah.
So we don't want to arch too much here. We want to keep that engaged. It's very easy to make these slight nuanced differences, and obviously Lara doesn't really have any back trouble, so she's not necessarily going to be aware of some of these nuanced differences, but we want to make sure we're not making those slight mistakes. They do start to give us trouble, and you've got to keep that spine in a neutral position. Last 5 seconds. And swap sides for the last rep. And really, guys, do this stretch next to the bed or next to the sofa, somewhere where you've got support to actually help you change from one side to the other. It really makes a massive difference, as you're seeing today with Lara. It really does make a huge difference. And we'll start there, 30 seconds, here we go. And then after this, we're going to be getting into the glute stretch. So you see, this does take a little bit of time to go through. It's not too long, but it takes a bit of time as we're going through this. Still feeling it on the front? You find as you go through this, you can go a bit further each time?
I think my hip flexors are really tight.
Okay.
So that's why I'm bouncing more than I probably should. But it feels nice and relieving.
Yeah, just to let you guys know, we've done a 13-kilometer walk today, so we are a little bit tight, which is why you should do these exercises. And that's the last one. Now, that's a very good side note. We've done a long walk. You're going to feel a little bit tight. You should have this as a routine, especially this last part we've been through, the stretches and the towel that we're going to get onto in a moment. as a routine that you can do to undo some of the stress. We're generally fit, healthy people doing those sorts of physical activities on a daily basis. It does take its toll on the body. It doesn't have to be too much, so it's worthwhile using these stretches to really ease off the tension that can develop. Now, the glute stretch, this is a really good one, but it also throws up a few issues. We're going to need to start lying on our back. If you move this way a little bit more, Lara.
Which way?
Up the mat. And we want to probably go a bit further than that. There we go.
Very nice and slow.
Yeah, I know, but if you don't have back pain when we're just getting in the starting position, it's okay. You don't. Yeah?
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, here we go. So one leg straight. Now it's important to bear in mind you want to keep your core engaged for this, because if you're a bit vulnerable on the floor, you might be doing this on the bed. We don't want the spine to move too much. So the core's nice and engaged. We can see here it's loose. Very important. We're going to take this leg, pop it the other side of the knee, and then we're going to take the left hand and just pull across. Now, Lara, everyone's got a different anatomy. Lara's arms, legs, body ratio means that she's got to lift that foot off the ground a touch. That's okay if that's you. I've got very long, spindly arms and they can reach almost my feet. It feels like sometimes, so it's okay. We should feel this stretch through here, and that way we know we're hitting the right spot. Do you feel that there?
Yeah, right, like here.
Yeah, now there's a few things of note here. We'll start a timer. We'll go 30 seconds here again. A few things to note. We're going to feel the stretch through the glutes down here. That's really important. But sometimes you might feel it a bit in the groin, and we need to play around with the position, the angle that we're pulling in. Maybe Lara needs to pull a bit more towards the shoulder. Maybe she needs to pull it a bit more across down towards the knee. You have to find what is the right angle for you, the right nuanced angle. That's 25 seconds. And 30 seconds. Let's slowly unlock. Pop that foot back on the floor. And then swap legs. So it's always best to bring one leg up and then one leg down. Never bring two legs up or down at the same time. Very good tip. It'll really hurt you if you don't do it. And let's start the timer again. You feel that one there? So again, we're trying not to get too much stretch through the spine. In so much that we're not trying to rotate the spine too much. That's a really, really important point here. Do you feel it in the buttocks?
Yes.
That's 22 seconds. And 30 seconds. Swap legs. And one leg over, and off we go again. Now, sometimes people ask, should the foot be on the floor? I've already mentioned this. It doesn't need to be on the floor. It's okay.
Here's a question that we get. What if I'm cramping on the inside of my leg?
Yeah, so a lot of people find they cramp a little bit on the groin when they bring that leg over. It's really common. It's okay. You just need to relax that leg a little bit more when you're picking it up. And that's 30 seconds now. Let's unlock, next leg. So that feeling as we were going through the butt part that Lara's about to go through, bringing the one leg over, sometimes it can cramp up and it feels like it's blocking a little bit stuck in the groin. The easiest way to do it, really relax this leg and pick it up and pull it over. So actually use your body, use your hands to move that leg like this. So literally just pick it up and pull it across and put it there, and then we go. That can work an awful lot better if you're getting the cramping in the groin here. That works really, really well to get it into position. Then just relax, really let go into the stretch. Feel it in the buttocks like Lara's doing, and you're going to find the stretch is an awful lot more pleasant on the groin region. And then that's it there, relax. One more on each side?
Yes.
Okay. Again, don't rush on any of these. Don't rush to pick one leg up or put it down or anything like that. We're taking our time on all of these. Lara's going very, very slowly. Take it easy. We don't want any jarring movements, especially if you've got back pain right now. As you go through phase 2 and you're still doing this aspect of the routine, you're going to find that you're able to transition from one to the other a little bit faster, and that's okay, that's great. But take your time when you're learning these new routines so you know what's right for you. Around 10 seconds. then let's unlock. So last one for the glutes, and then we're going to get into the towel exercise. Now again, if you're in the premium membership area on the Facebook group, we've got a video on this, some variations for these glute stretches that you can do on the bed, or check them out at backinshapeapp.com premium section. It's all there, and you can see some variations that you can use to feed in and exchange this exercise for others. They're perfectly acceptable, but this is really the easiest one to do. It flows the nicest.
Could you also wrap a towel around your knee and kind of hold it?
You can, yeah, you can use a towel to extend the arm length. That's completely normal, acceptable to do. Another 5 seconds, and then we will get ready for the towel. So, we unlock there.
Okay.
Now I'm going to show you guys the towel. If you've watched any of the other videos, phase 1, phase 2, or phase 3, then you'll have seen this orange thing. Nice big beach towel. What we do, fold it in half. Now really, probably should have done this before we started and had this on the side ready, because Lara's on her back, perfect position, ready to get going. And please, if you've got back pain, don't sit like this, okay? Because it's not a good idea.
No.
Straight after we've done back work, but a lot of people do. You know, you see how Lara's instinctively gone and done it. It's quite comfortable for Lara, but for people with back pain, when we're sat like that, the risk is that it's putting pressure through the discs, because we're in a sitting position with the legs that are pulling that bum under. It's more likely to give us some trouble in the discs. So we definitely don't want to do that. We might get away with doing that in the first instance. You might get away with doing that the very first time you do it, or the first few minutes after doing the stretch. It's not a good idea for the long term. Now, you see I've rolled this up nice and good. And we're going to lie on our back first, if possible. Knees bent. And remember, we're finding these two bony bits. Lara knows where it is. But if you put it where you did the first time when you did this exercise. So if you put this in, this is the wrong position, okay? But we're going to show you why. A little bit lower that way. Okay? Just see
that was probably where I had it, I think.
So it's so uncomfortable. You see, it's just straight on the sacrum. The back doesn't know which way to go. So if we slide it up a little bit this way, okay? Now, Lara's bony bits, so to speak, and I'm going to set the timer now. So hopefully you're in the right position. If you're not just yet, then pause the video now and just get into the right position, and then unpause it in a moment, because we're going to do this together. We're going to do it for 5 minutes, okay? And I'm going to talk to you guys through it. So time starts now. What we've got is we've got the waist. Now for ladies, this is a really easy one. We find the middle of the waist, and that's about where we've got this towel, okay? But if we go into the back, the bony bits, those two dimples down here, are really just below the bottom side of the towel. And that way we've got the spine arching straight over. And I'll take the spine and show you guys what it looks like in Lara. Just right next to her. So Lara, if you just lift your arms up out of the way. She's something like that, okay? Where she had it before was about here. It kind of wasn't the worst position. It could have been here. We've had that, and that's really bad, okay? But it was kind of in some weird no man's land. Here, we've got it supporting the middle and lower lumbar spine, providing that nice arching movement to the lower back. And that's really, really important. How does it feel?
Really good.
So what we're doing in this position is we're just relaxing there. You're not doing anything, you're not rolling.
Are you tensing your core? No.
You can tense your core if you want. It's not really an issue. Here we're looking to relax. This is a relief-based exercise. It's unloading the discs in your spine. It's taking pressure off. You're unwinding after the routine that you've just done. Some of those stretches might have been a bit difficult and a bit uncomfortable. That's completely okay. We just want to relax in this position. And that's really the most important thing. We've been going for about 90 seconds now. But you should really feel the stretch. And this is something that we actually do. As soon as we get in after a walk or a run, always try and jump on that towel. After a workout, jump on that towel. It just unloads the discs in the lower back, and it's such a good exercise. Really, it's the easiest thing you can do. I mean, how easy is it once you're there?
Pretty easy.
Yeah, you're just lying on the floor. Very, very simple. And we don't need to do anything. If you've got any pets, keep them out of the way while you're doing this, because they tend to jump on you while you're doing these. And you can meditate, do what you wish. You can mute me for the next 3 minutes and then turn it back on if you want. That's fine too. One thing that helps you relax, Lara's already done it instinctively, but her feet are actually further apart than her knees, and the knees have dropped in, so she can kind of relax her legs a little bit more. so that the knees are going to fall into the middle rather than having your feet in a parallel position to your knees. So see how she just adjusted it even more now. They can really relax in the middle and hold themselves steady. Works very, very nicely. So that's 2.5 minutes. It goes really quickly, actually. So many of you that are doing this exercise for the first time, say you've been doing the phase 1 routine for a week, a couple of days, maybe more so a couple of days, you're going to find that this exercise is actually a little bit difficult. It's uncomfortable. You're not as relaxed as Lara is. Now, firstly, we want to check the positioning. Is the positioning correct? Secondly, it's completely normal. A lot of you will have been slouched like this in front of the computer for long periods. Maybe we've got some degenerative change in the spine. And this position will be opening out those squashed vertebrae, so squashed discs. And for the first couple of times, it's actually quite a challenge for a lot of people. But perseverance, after about a week or so, you'll find that this exercise goes from one of the ones that was most uncomfortable to one of the ones you really can't do without. It is so good. And it's something they use to disrupt your working habits. So say you've been working at the computer for a long period of time, you can jump on the towel, if you're still working from home, that is. We're shooting this in amidst the coronavirus lockdown, so it's quite relevant there. But it's a really, really good exercise that you will grow to really like, because you'll feel it unloading the pressure off the spine, but also unloading the pressure off the muscles in your lower back as well. It just really decompresses everything, takes the stress off everything by bringing you back towards a neutral position. And as we come into the last minute of this stretch, you might be thinking, oh, well, Mike, I've been told before I've got hyperlordosis, I've got too much curve, I've got anterior pelvic tilt, I've got all those sorts of things. Being in this position, whether or not you've got those conditions or those issues, those alignment issues, you're only in here for a short period of time, 3 to 5 minutes. It's not going to influence any of those issues for the long term. It's not long enough to hold that position. Now, if you're doing it for 20 minutes, that's another story, but you're not, hopefully. You're just doing it for that 5. It's not going to have any negative impact. And furthermore, a lot of those conditions, if they're not diagnosed through standing upright x-rays, they really don't have any validity. They don't really hold water. Part of it might be your glutes, like me, are just a little bit large and stick out, so it looks like you've got too much curve. Other people, it's just the natural anatomy and bony architecture and the way in which the soft tissues hang over your skeleton that make it look like you've got too much lordosis in your lower back. So don't worry too much about any misalignments that you've been told before. Now, last 10 seconds, we're coming up to the end. Very, very important as we get off here. Now, we're gonna over-exaggerate this for you guys today. I'm gonna tip Lara off. She's not gonna move a muscle, but that's time, that's 5 minutes. Now, what I'm gonna get her to do is what I want you to do at home. She's gonna take her hands, have them behind her head, behind her neck, and she's gonna lock this up nice and tight. She's gonna bring her knees one at a time, in a little bit maybe, just a touch, good. And this one, into the middle, really, really tight. And she's gonna lock everything up. Now, when you're doing this at home, you can actually just tip yourself off to the side. We don't want to twist. We don't want this to stay still and this to move first, because that is going to hurt. It's not a good idea. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get Lara to hold everything really, really tight, and I'm going to tip her off. And it's going to look a bit funny, but she's going to hold everything really tight, and this is how you want to try and get off. Everything moves together. Done. And if we have a second pillow, we can have one here, and we just support our head here for the moment. She can relax. Spine hasn't moved. The spine hasn't twisted. If you twist your spine, it will be uncomfortable. You will not like it. So please don't do that. It's a little bit more difficult if the ladies have a wider waist, pelvis relative to waist. That's personal anatomy. It makes it a bit more difficult, but you can still do it by just pivoting your toes and tipping yourself off. How did that feel coming off like that, me tipping you?
Yeah, absolutely fine.
It feels a lot easier because it's not bending, it's not twisting the spine. Now you stay in this position. If you have the urge to flex your back, to round your back, do not do that. That'll make it a lot worse. Really, really bad idea. Lara's spine is nice and neutral. She's going to stay here for a few months and then pop herself up when she's ready without bending the spine. That's really important. We're going to go over to the freezer. We won't do this, but you need to do this after this video and get some ice straight on that lower back. We're going to find the bony bits, ice straight there, and that's really, really important. I'll let you get up, Lara.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much your phase 1 routine.
Woo.
Yeah, well done. Great person demonstrating the routine, which is really, really good. We've done it well. We've done it slowly for you guys so you can see exactly what we're doing and how sort of the tempo that you can do it at. It's not a race. You're going to be doing this 3 times a day. So if you need to watch this video 3 times a day, you can do that as well. It's perfectly acceptable. And slowly transition into phase 2. as soon as you hit those relevant markers that we talk about. If you're watching this in premium, then you'll already have the ability to comment in the Facebook group, etc., or email us, etc., so you can get that guidance yourself. But it's really important that we keep this routine as we transition into phase 2, and you guys can pop back to here to watch whenever you like. Have you got any comments to add, Lara?
The only thing I would say is I was going really slow,
yeah,
just in case you are in quite a bit of pain. If you can do it faster, then maybe just watch it on fast speed. You can do like times 2.5%.
I'm not 100% sure the guys will be able to do that on this particular video, but there's no problem. You can't pause and skip ahead.
Yeah.
That's perfectly fine. We've done this to really help you if you're struggling with this phase 1 routine. But also, some of you guys will be competent enough. You'll have been doing it for a couple of weeks now, and you'll be used to adding this in as part of your phase 2 or phase 3 rehab. So it's just a little refresher. There's a few pointers there that we've touched on. Hopefully you found this video helpful. If you're doing phase 1 now, say you're new to phase 1, you haven't done it before, then post in the comments. Let us know how you found it. What areas, what stretches did you find difficult? Have you looked at some of the variations instead that you can do, like such as the glute one that we mentioned earlier? Or if you're in phase 2 and you're doing this routine, let us know how you found it. How have you found the ease and fluidity of this exercise? How have you found your hamstring stretches have come on as you've been doing this? Has it got a little bit more stiff when you moved into phase 2 and started doing some of those other exercises? And maybe you felt like you took a little step back temporarily. How have you found these things? Comment in the section below, as you guys always do if you're looking at this on the Facebook comments, the private Facebook group. And hopefully you found this really, really helpful, and we'll have plenty more to follow.
Yeah, thanks guys.
Awesome.
Have a great day.
Have a great day, guys. Thank you.